All right. We've got Beyond in the top right side of this best of three. It's the semifinals of the ESL American Weekly number 100 and, not 100 and anything. It's actually number 200. So it's no longer that one. In the bottom left, we got Solar. Oh, Spore Trick. Quick Spore Crawler trick. Doesn't lose a single unit. Wait a second. Did he only build... Oh, guys. Did Solar go 15 hatch, 15 pool? He's... Whoa, what's going on? I'm not sure what this opening is for Solar. Only building 2 Zerglings. Interesting. Oh, I'll definitely rewind at the end of this game and let you know. I do cast these weekly cups live, and there's a lot of kind of hopping into the games in the middle of it whenever we get a chance to. And this one is a bit of a weird situation, because if you're going 15-15, you normally wouldn't want to fast third, but to see him build so few Zerglings and get away with it usually means the queens are quite early. Curious to see how this goes. It is Alcyon. I think hard lead is one of the shorter Reaper Rush distances. I think Alcyon somewhere in the middle with those barracks on the low ground. They do come in earlier, and it was a 3 RAX, remember. Now going to start building some add-ons. He's gone to 6 Reapers. That's enough to one-shot drones. If they go for a run by... Oh, yeah, they can one-shot drones. Is he splitting the Reapers up? Oh. It's a shame he didn't bring all 6 guys. So he loses his lethality basically by not control grouping that Reaper, I think. Oh, he's going to get a queen, maybe? Not quite. Has to back off. Link speed's super duper late, so he's going to get this 3rd hatchery no matter what. I like that idea to go in the main and look for more damage. He's kind of realizing, hey, this is bait. Like, let's just bait him out here. I think at this point he should probably focus more on killing it, but he's actually using it to bait the queens out. He'd rather go in the main and wreak havoc there. Oh, no! Okay, nice micro by Solar so far, bringing the Lings in, pulls them back once they overextend. He's managed to kill one of the Reapers, but the queens are weak. The queens are weak. Uh-oh. This might be like that, Oh, never mind. Queen goes down. Reaper's pulling back as well. Zergling's there as well. Oh, man, that's a lot of Zerglings that go down. The Reddit point Reaper gets focused, but at what cost? These 2 queens are waiting on the low ground for him to try to escape. Without link speed, Solar's taking massive damage, and maybe this is a new build order Solar's been trying, and maybe it works well versus 2 RAX Reaper, not versus 3 RAX Reaper. He's already transitioning to Marines. Oh, nice surround, actually. I wasn't expecting that surround to go as well as it did. And these guys are not able to get out of there. There is actually a jump down ledge path right there. You can see there's a little arrow on the ground, but they were not able to do it. So factory and starport's on the way. 3 barracks pumping Marines. And Solar took a massive amount of damage. That being said, he's only lost 3 queens. It felt like he lost a lot more than 3 queens, right? I'm not crazy for saying that. Felt like I saw more than that go down. Hatchery survived as well, and he's going to go take the 4th base. Going to start mining those minerals open. Now, with a 3 RAX build, the 3 RAX Reaper, it always is the same follow-up, which is 3 RAX Marine Medevac. Very slow 3rd command center because you want to be producing out of those barracks. Solar knows about this ahead of time, and I expect him to go for a quick carapace upgrade as quickly as possible. And then he's going to go into heavy Zergling Queen, try to tech up probably into Banelings from there. Could go Roaches, but yeah, single Evo carapace is usually where it's at against a very aggressive Terran player. Carapace to try and negate some of those attack upgrades and just lower that crazy lethality of those Marines. Chat's telling me apparently Solar was 15-15ing with a 3rd instead of the 3rd and 4th queens in GSL. Did he do that versus Gumiho in the finals? I don't think he did that in the finals. Was I that? I know I casted at the end of a long day last weekend. So if I missed that, that would be kind of appallingly, or appalling, or maybe I forgot it because I'd already cast so many exciting series that day, but I'll definitely have to double check it. I mean, it's worked out for him. Look at this. He's up 17 workers, assuming he can defend. Oh, he's got no transfuse. He's got no transfuse. Oh, I don't know if he can defend this. That's a lot of Marines. 21 Marines with stim. The Lings are gone. Oh, that's game. That's game. Okay. I was like, look how ahead he is on drones, guys. No. The 3 RAX Reaper did counter him enough. Great damage for Beyond. All right. That was a nice build to counter the 15-15 into 3rd base Beyond there. Apparently, Solar was doing that in GSL. I didn't pick up on it, even though I watched a lot of Solar's games. The pleb that I am. And interestingly, this looks like a more standard 16 hatchery opening, which Beyond's kind of scared him into doing. And I think Beyond now can go back to the more straightforward 2 RAX Reaper. Not a fan of the 2 RAX Reaper myself, but I think it does match Beyond's style very, very well. Beyond is always a player who is on the edge of overcommitting to aggression to the point where he makes his life so hard, and he needs to do so much damage for it to be worth it. But hold that thought. This is a 1 barracks opening, guys. This is a single barracks opening on the low ground. Oh, are we going to build 2 Marines and try to kill an Overlord? Maybe. The Overlords are actually coming forward on a bit of a diverted path. He was kind of looking for proxy barracks. He's worried about proxy barracks, Solar. Down a game, he realizes BYUN is the kind of guy who might just proxy Marine, bunker rush you, and try to ruin your day. Now, of course, Solar was way too greedy. 62 drones in that last game. Against a guy who you know is a very late 3rd command center, you do not need a 20 worker advantage on your opponent, guys. 55 workers would have been more than enough, and he just needed, you know, if you have 20 more Zerglings instead of those 10 extra drones, that's totally fine. Like, you can surround the attack with Zerglings, or at least buy enough time for your Queens to all get a transfuse up, and you'll be okay. I missed game 1. Can you please rewind, Pig? What the hell just happened? Why was that so quick? So 2 Marines, he's looking for the Overlord. Marines don't have very long sight vision. You can see the vision. Whereas the Overlord, you can see, sees a lot further than a Marine. So he doesn't actually glimpse the Marines. He doesn't know he's being hunted for, but he's about to find out. And both Marines are going to go for it. He's got a pillar over there. He definitely can hide. This Marine needs to start it to the right, that one to the left. He won't kill the Overlord. The Overlord should make it to the pillar just barely in time. But Solar may be over-microing that a little bit, and he may lose it for it. Oh! 2 hit points, you're kidding me. BYUN'S like, oh, get out of here, man. And he has to leave it be. That Overlord survives now because Lings are coming across the map, and you've got to just kind of chill. Marines with Hellions now building behind it will be a good start. Starport's on the way. It's the 2nd gas opening, guys, but he's forgotten to put on gas. Does need to transfer down there. And look at this wall off. Funny wall off. This sort of build order is better on maps where you have a ramp like this. It's harder for them to attack up into your ramp, and it's also quite narrow. On a map where it's just flat, there's no ramp here, it's really easy for Roaches and Ravagers to give you trouble. So if there's a map to do this build, this is definitely it. Site Delta. Injects going down on all these hatcheries. 3 Queens are out. 10 more Zerglings on the way. Now that's interesting. He is planning to run in when the add-on swap, I think. That's what it kind of looks like. Why would you build this many Zerglings? Unless you're looking to do a sneaky run by. But on a guy who has a natural wall off. Oh. Oh, what? Does he just know that he leaves the wall off open at this point? No way. Hellions do spot a few Zerglings up there. Overly safe build for Solar, guys. Really paranoid here about what's coming next. But, oh, the Hellions are going to dive in. Uh-oh. Bit of an overcommitment there for BYUN. Does get surrounded. And that's all 4 Hellions dead for just a few Zerglings. Great play there. These 3 Lings are going to run in as well, realizing there's very little firepower at home. But it's going to be good enough. 2 Marines behind the wall off. So BYUN does lose his Hellions. And Solar cut a lot of workers to make that happen. So in isolation, the Zerglings killing the Hellions is massive advantage Solar. But if you take into account that he was a bit low on droning to get those units out on time, you can kind of even it out and say, okay, it's probably still an advantage to Solar, but it's a much smaller one than it might be in a different circumstance. Factories floating around right now, having a bit of a identity crisis. Double engineering bays on the way. And this Banshee will fly down. This is a cloakless Banshee, ain't gonna do jack. Oh, BYUN. Oh, Solar pulls back, thankfully. 3 more barracks should be going down momentarily. This factory is just flying around in circles right now, guys. It should have already built the reactor for that starport. Bit of disorganization for BYUN in this game. Does start 2 depots right now, realizing he is about to get supply blocked. And he does actually have a 3rd barracks building. Stim's on the way, halfway done. And a 4th and 5th barracks goes down. Zergling pokes the front there. Does see that there's a tech lab upgrading. Probably Stim over there. Can kind of ascertain that that's what's happening. And it's going to be a Roach style out of Solar. Something that, you know, he wants to mix things up, see what he can do. All right, what do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 active creep tumors on this map. 9 if you count the one in the main base. Solar should be spreading that around the edges of his main to get a bit more vision and movement. At this point, he's realizing, okay, these Spore Crawlers probably weren't necessary. This is just a single Banshee. Does feel like an advantage to Solar, though. Up 15 workers. And it's such an aggressive looking build out of Beyond. Just mass marine tank off 2 base, medevacs. Roaches are good at stopping that. Obviously the Roaches won't scale that well into the longer stages of the game. And we do need just Overlords and those 1-1 upgrades to start. Carapace beginning there. It's about a 1 minute advantage for Beyond on the upgrades. And the Armory is starting right on time, so we can actually start 2-2 immediately. He's hitting a bit of a supply block. This is why us low-level players always like to have Gary and Bruce non-stop building depots, whereas those top pros do it intermittently, but as a result, they do get supply blocked quite a lot, even in these games where there's not much happening, so. Sieging up next to the crates over there. Looks like there used to be a bunker here, guys, but it's all kind of wrecked and half buried in the desert there in the sand. Looks like a wrecked siege tank there as well. Cool. Yeah, you've even got wreckage down here. Is that a chest? There's treasure chests, guys. Treasure chests under the water. First time I noticed them on this map. Marine drop going down the left. And interestingly, guys, it's actually not 1-1 Roach. He's swapping to melee upgrades. Oh my god, wait. Carapace was on the left. Did he accidentally cancel both upgrades? Oh my god. Guys, I think Solar accidentally canceled both of his upgrades. And then swapped into melee. He's going quick hive. No infestors or anything like that. Looks like he's just going to try and play Lingbane Viper off of the Roach Ravager opening. I think he was expecting Beyond to be way more aggressive than this. He has seen the third base morphing into an orbital. Spores in the main, going to pin him back. Oh god, watch out Beyond, watch out Beyond! Beyond's very quick though, and always alert, is watching, and does pull back to the safety of the bottom side. Solar instantly full saturating his fourth, so he's going to be on 76 workers, going up to about 80 in a moment. 2-2 on the way for Terran. Did not start that immediately. Beyond was a little slow on it. He's got a second factory building out front his third base. Ravagers, Lings, trying to tear these rocks down to make this a little bit easier to engage. Doesn't have any Banelings yet, guys. It's an awkward moment in the Zerg army. Ravager Ling is not that well rounded. He's going to try and bile a tank, but dude, is Beyond just going to kill him? So such an awkward transition and not having... I mean, he's got 1-1 upgrades, but his Roaches weren't there. Oh my lord. Is Beyond... Okay, Beyond's getting massive damage. His tanks are getting overwhelmed. He will lose the tanks, but look at that. He says, okay, you kill my tanks, I'll just drop over here. And uh-oh. Solar has to pull the army back. Nice hot pickup. Marines running forward. He's going to take out the Spore Crawler. Of course, opens the path for the medevacs to chase. And great trades for Beyond here. A little slow on the pickup. Could have picked that up a little bit earlier, but it is what it is. I mean, he's doing fantastic. Ultra Caverns on the way, as well as Vipers, 2-2 Adrenal Glands. Solar somehow has 72 workers still alive, but that was an awful series of fights. And this is always the danger with kind of committing to Roach Ravager and then changing your mind and saying, oh, actually, I will go Ling Bane. Baneling speed ain't done. You know, you're there. You've got all the tech and upgrades on the way, but there is a big window where the Terran can strike and find weakness. Now, to be fair, if Ultras hit the field, it's a mostly Marine army. He's starting to build Widow Mines now. Doesn't have Drilling Claws just yet. Doesn't have a lot of Marauders. His 6, 7, 8th barracks are only just building. Maybe Solar can drag this out. He's the king of defense. He's a fantastic defensive Zerg. Can he hold on? A couple of units getting picked off. Drone on the right side. Another couple of drones go down. Oh, man. A few Queens going down. The Banshee comes back in there as well. The Marines shove forward. Big overcommitment there for Beyond, but he's getting damage on both sides, causing a lot of chaos. Is it worth it? Only one tank there. Banshee still damaging the 5th base in the bottom. +3 armor starts here. Old habits die hard. It's so funny that we talked for about 6 months to a year about Beyond getting rid of that habit. But the moment the game is intense, his old habits of spamming through his hotkeys to start upgrades is still there. And that's not in and of itself a bad thing. The problem is that he doesn't notice that he hasn't started +3 weapons, right? Sometimes you just select your engineering base, hit some buttons. You don't have time to check if you actually have the money to upgrade it or not. And that's why he thinks he's queued up both upgrades, and he'll realize much later in the game, oh wait, I only started +3 armor. I was missing +3 attack this whole game, and it's such an important upgrade in Zerg vs Terran, so definitely something you want to be better at remembering. There is a tank here. Double Drop tries to come home as well to defend this base. Big push in the south, mostly Marines and Widow Mines. He's just looking to find Solar kind of out of position. Hasn't been able to find anything like that just yet. These Widow Mines need to burrow. The Widow Mines are getting hammered. The Parasitic Bomb ruined the medevacs. And Solar was getting wrecked earlier in this game, and now Beyond basically just jumps into the meat grinder. He looks at Solar's army on creep, and he says, that looks a lot like a meat grinder. Solar says, yes, it does. Beyond says, what's a meat grinder do? Solar says, why don't you find out? Beyond sticks his hand into the meat grinder, up to the elbow, and boy, does he find out. That is a nasty turnaround in this game. It wasn't even about the ultras. Beyond just shoved way too hard on creep, didn't have enough factory units, and it just took a series of very bad fights into Solar's Banelings. Solar kind of getting this one back despite the accidental cancel on the upgrades earlier. A huge mistake for him, and taking so much damage to Beyond's first 3-base timing attack, but Beyond lets it slip away, a bit too aggressive for his own good. All right, we got a series in our hands. Golden Aura in the bottom right side. Beyond that game slipped away, just running into Banelings a little bit too hard. Really tried to push the tempo. And Solar, man, he takes a punch like no other Zerg. He can take bad fight after bad fight. We did check in the replay at the end of that last game. It was only about 10, maybe 15 seconds at most after he started his upgrades when he canceled them and swapped to melee. Wasn't as bad as I thought, though obviously didn't need to cancel both of them. Could have just canceled the range upgrade, but it is what it is. I do like a handful of Roach Ravager to stop the Terran's aggression, maybe 20 Roaches or so, into Ultras and Infestors and Zerglings. I think it's a great style. Solar prefers Vipers, which is fair enough. Vipers wreck tanks, very good for the Parasitic Bomb and the Medivacs as well, gets good value in the long term. And really punishes a Terran when they ball up and try to do the stutter step into picking up at the last second. Beyond's going to go Command Center first. Ooh, hello. Nice economic build, man. Are we going to see a gas next or a second barracks? Okay. So this will be just a quick factory. Second gas and then factory will come down. Notice build one more SCV and then gas. Normally you rally that SCV to build the gas though. Beyond just pulls it off minerals to do it. Doesn't command center first as much as some of the other guys maybe. Spawning pools there. We've got gas on the way. And Solar doing a pretty straightforward opening. It looks like he's been scared away from the 15 hatchery into quick third. All right, there we go. Factory going down there after the barracks. Command center should be going into orbital. Beyond's build order is looking a little sloppy, I got to admit, guys. Now he's queuing an SCV. Beyond. Oh god, let's watch this from Beyond's vision, guys. He is not looking at his natural. He just looked at it like 3 times and he still hasn't made an orbital. Beyond, what are we doing? Oh my lord, that was a really sloppy opening. At least he noticed. The way Beyond's screen jumps around, I'm like, oh my god, stop spamming. Do your build order properly, mate. And we'll see a really quick third command center in just a moment, guys. Got 450 minerals. Is he not going to start a third command center? He wants to go Starport, Hellion, Marines. He's going to cancel those and swap that. Okay, he's not. No, he's actually just, okay, dropping the mules there. Going to go for the Starport. Weird opening from Beyond. Definitely not my favorite so far. I don't think it's bad. Overall, I don't think it's like, oh my god, each opening's terrible. But it seems a little bit disorganized, is what I would have to say about this one. Solar, on the other hand, is business as usual. It's Golden Aura. It's a good map for just kind of big, overwhelming macro play. You got some big, wide open areas to swarm the Terran. Don't get me wrong. There are some ledges. We often see Terran sieging up with tanks up here and kind of baiting the Zerg into that area. But there's a great ramp to flank it from the right. A giant ramp. Someone in chat was saying, why no Ghost with Spell Shot? Steady targeting. The snipe of the Ghost. Definitely wasn't time in the game for Beyond to have snipe. But no, he kind of died before the Ultras even came out, guys. He was in trouble before that. Armory's on the way. Oh, it's going to be a Hellbat push. Beyond's going for a crisp 2-base Hellbat timing. This is a build order that tends to fall out of fashion. I like that he's repairing the Hellion. He's trying to get rid of any sort of Overlord there. Okay, does accidentally drop that. It's going to be 5 Hellbats and 5 Marines. And then 2 more Hellions rallying into the fight as well. Does raise his depot in time. Sends 2 Hellions back as well to clean that up. Nicely done. Solar does not have a Baneling Nest. Solar does not have a Rotron. He's got 6 queens. They don't have a lot of transfuse energy right now, but we'll see how this goes. Hellbats are very slow. Queens can kite backwards on creep. Shoot, pull back, shoot, pull back. That is what kiting is, guys. That's where you want your opponent to just follow you, and you move and shoot backwards and lure them into a bad position, or just try and slow down the actual engagement happening. BYUN kind of chilling on this timing, not really committing that hard. Solar confidently goes double evolution chamber in the face of this, really giving it very little respect. He does queue up 3 more queens, which is his one little modicum of safety. But a Hellbat gets sniped. At least he's forced most of the queens to the front. But 3 more of those are building right now. Third command center is only halfway done. We've got double engineering bay into 2 more barracks building. And a 4th and a 5th barracks goes down as well. Liberator's going to fly in the middle. Queens and spores are ready. BYUN takes 2 queen hits, immediately turns that Liberator around. Liberators are very tough units. Hellbats and Marines trying to move around. 1-1 upgrades are on the way right now for Solar. They're not far behind the 1-1 of BYUN. BYUN is slipping far behind in this game. The GSL champion used to be 50% win rate, 50% loss forever versus BYUN. But now that he's got that confidence of winning that GSL, is it time for Solar to finally start outclassing BYUN? Liberator in the back. Perfect queen pullback timing. Second queen brilliantly positioned. Drones stacking to avoid any of them dying. Immediately sends back on gas. Hellion drop is going to go in the main. He's going to try and morph into Hellbats inside that main base by the looks of it. Maybe just do a bit of a runny. But Lings are coming up, and they will be able to surround these Hellions. Ooh, nice defense by Solar. Only loses a few Zerglings. And he's basically got this series in the bag. Oh, my lord. A full medevac goes down as well. I hate to call this so early, but BYUN's opening sucked. And he also didn't commit very hard with the Hellbats. It wasn't a great Hellbat timing to begin with. And now it's also an issue. 3 barracks pumping there. We got a 4th and a 5th barracks. Factory there. Starport is going to be pumping away, but just look at the supply. Look at the money. This is probably even worse than Gumiho in the finals. Gumiho fell behind from his opening 2 games, game 1 and game 2 versus Solar, and he looked massively outclassed because he was so far behind. People were like, oh, he's so, you can't keep up with him, but I really feel it was just he was too far behind. Now, BYUN's coming into this from even further behind than Gumiho was, but BYUN does have that clutch BYUN multitasking and micro that does give him potentially more comeback play rather than a guy like Gumiho. His upgrades are still ahead. Third base is on the way. He's building Widow Mines, which are potentially massive shots that can come off of those. They try and double drop the right side. But man, up to 80 workers soon, 85. Overlord speed, +2 armor, +2 melee. And he's getting ready for the lurker swap already. Solar is rich as they come. He's spending a lot of money on income, upgrades, tech. So he's being kind of greedy, and that does give BYUN a decent opportunity right now to try and get some good fights. We'll see how it goes. Sporecrawler in the main does force that drop south, but BYUN adjusts accordingly. Attacking in the south with a Hellbat Marine spready. Baneling speed is not quite here. It's a moment where maybe the fight can go okay for BYUN, but as I say that... Oh! Good pickups at the last second by BYUN. The Baneling speed kicking in was pretty nice. I love that queen pullback. You don't want to really pick up and drop into those queens because you'll take a lot of damage, and one of the medevacs had gone down, so only 1 medevac escapes with 8 Marines. No 4th command center has started for BYUN. He's moving down to start it on location now, which is a good idea. Wall that off as well, so run-bys can't get in there very easily. It'd be a great play. But Hive started, Hydra upgrades coming in, and Solar is large and in charge. 86 workers, he's got a 600 mineral a minute advantage. He's mining more gas. The Banelings do get focused down before they can connect. Got to focus those cocoons though, mate. Does take down one of the cocoons. The other one does finish. Cocoons have 50 hit points and 3 armor. They are very buff. Not enough medevacs for the hot pickup. BYUN's over-aggression is getting him punished in this series, and what a brilliant start to the series. But man, Solar is just getting in his comfort zone, and I've always said if you give Solar an early game lead in ZVT, good luck, mate. It's like giving Serral a lead. They're really 2 players who are very similar levels of defensive Zerg versus Terran play. Solar and Serral, you got to get ahead against them. You got to trick them. You got to catch them off guard. You got to keep the momentum going. You cannot just be playing, oh, I'm down 20-30 supply at the 6-minute mark. There's no way, man. 90 drones. He's making so many units, and the Lurker will be going down in the near future. Hives there. Vipers can be coming in. Nice hot pickups for Beyond, but the units lost tab is actually ahead for Solar. And that's why this aggression is not working out, man. You need to be trading much better as Terran versus Zerg to have any chance in this matchup. Great focus fire. He actually gets 13 drones for 8 Marines. Not bad. Could have left a few seconds earlier and saved a lot more of those Marines, though. Single Marine drops behind the natural. Will get shot down here by the Queen. Nice plays by Solar. 2 Vipers are on the way. Is Lurker finally building in the main base? Solar's all over this, and Beyond, I'm waiting for that epic play to get him back in the game. I look at the units lost tab and I say, it ain't happening. You need to outplay your opponent, man, in order to get back in this scenario. You need to out-micro him and trade like a beast. But right now it's Solar who's getting Adrenal, Viper, Hydras, Banes. He's gonna, that's a second Viper even. I like that Beyond's setting up a little bit more off creep right now rather than running his whole army around in a ball. You got to watch out with those Marines, though. The Banelings roll in, and they are so happy to take these trades. Marine drop up top does clear that creep. Picks up, starts to try to go in the main, but remember, there's spores everywhere. It's a fungal forest. That's not a good place for Terran. 15 Marines building at a time right now. Wait, is he on 8 RAX Reactor? Oh, Beyond's on 8 RAX Reactor. He's trying to overwhelm with raw Marine Widowmine firepower, guys. 15 Marines, 2 Widowmines at a time. 3 upgrades are on the way. Beyond is just trying to go with mass Marine and find the magic engagements. That Widowmine on the right side needs to take out some Banelings. It gets a big shot on the right. Widowmines get some big shots there as well. That's where the units lost tab is starting to finally get ahead for Beyond. He's got a 1700 resource advantage now. He's also got a decent economy, but he does need a 5th base up. And guys, notice high risk, high reward. Beyond knows he's far behind, so he turned his 4th into an orbital. Beyond cannot defend. If Solar ever gets a counterattack across the map, Beyond's going to crumble so quickly, guys. But I agree with him doing this because he's so far behind. Like, he needs to have some edge. For him, it's I want more scans, I want more mules. I just want to have a very mobile, very high damage army. He drops on the left side, comes in, gets a few drones. The Ling Bane do get gunned down by a bunch of Widowmines. Great multi-prong micro by Beyond. He's playing a nasty style right now. The Vipers should be over here parasitic bombing these medevacs over and over again. And he's got to get those Hydras out. Does Solar. He's actually got a lot of Hydras, but they're not here. They're kind of all in one big group right now. Solar's clumping up a little bit much. Oh my god. Is Beyond actually doing it with the Marine multi-prong? He might be. Leave some Marines there. The rest are going to go drop the main. Widowmines are shooting. He's a bit deep on creep here. He needs to get out. He needs to get out here. He does gun down. The Baneling starts to take out the Hydras. Is this actually working? The Marines in the back getting taken out by Parasitic Bomb. He does redrop the natural with a few of those Marines. Beyond working hard to make a crazy comeback. He was so far behind, but he's gunning through the Hydras. The drop in the back left side does get cleaned up. He cleans up a lot more of those Hydras, but more are coming in. It's so very close right now. Beyond 5,000 resources added in the units lost tab, and this is why I call games as over. People criticize me for saying it, but I always want to call it completely honestly, and I really felt there was no way, because Solar is such a good defensive player, no one gets back into the game from where Beyond was a few minutes ago. You know what? Beyond immediately goes in and says, yes, I do. And it's impressive. It's very, very impressive, and I want you all to understand why. Because that is crazy, man. He's meant to be screwed in this game. If Lurkers get out, he's probably still screwed. But he's back in a position where he can make this playable. He's trading very well. A Baneling does connect with his Marines. More Banelings behind. He's got to get out of there. Beyond, get out of there. He overcommits. A bunch of clutch engagements. But then he overcommits pretty badly. The Widowmines do take out a lot of the Hydras, though. It might actually be worth it. Parasitic Bomb does take out one of the medevacs. He's got a new drop in the back of the main base right now. But he's not actually killing a lot of drones. He's trying to break the back of Solar. Can he do it? 15 Marines, 3 Widowmines at a time. It's a 4 base all in. The Overseers starting to get damage on him. The Baneling Cocoons, unfortunately, for Beyond, very hard to gun down. The Liberator needs to siege up. The Widowmines have sieged up. The Overlords and the Overseers are all starting to fall right now. Solar's in big trouble. He finally cleans up the drop in his main base. He's still on 86 workers. But dude, the Marines, the Liberator, they're on top of the 5th base of Solar. Solar is going to lose control of this base and this game in this series. Beyond says GSL champ, more like GSL chump. How about a big old ball of Marines, some Widow Mines, and some 3-3 upgrades? Let's go. And he gets some massive, massive damage. He's still rallying forward. Solar does manage to regain control of a little bit of space here. Overseers come in. He's got to clean up these Widow Mines before they fire again. They only take out a Zergling. Not too bad for Solar. He hangs on. 9 drones go down. He keeps the base. He's got this one and this one. That is 6 base Zerg versus 4 base Terran. Beyond needs to lift his base right now and get out to a 5th. He's got to keep that mining up. Units lost tab. He's up 7,000 resources in the units lost tab. This is absolutely insane, man. The Marines and the Mines coming forward. The Parasitic Bomb is nasty. Widow Mines hitting those Overseers. They're both on like 2 hit points, but the Lurkers are out. And remember what I said, if they get Lurkers out, Lurkers counter this army very hard. BYUN is in a very fragile position, a very fragile state right now. Marines in the top get hit by that Baneling. Nice move by Solar. Just waiting till BYUN wasn't looking before he went in there. More Marine Mine coming up through the guts. There's only 8 Banelings. The Lurkers are not here right now. The Marines are just going to try and gun everything down before it gets on top. Parasitic Bomb lands on the Medivacs. But if he can just kill the Hydra Bane, the Lurkers are all down in the bottom left. They're not up here right now. The Marines are going to break the back of Solar. I cannot believe he's done it. He redropped the top at the same time. The drone's coming back in, but those Marines, they will find them eventually. Lurker's trying to come forward to defend. He does take out a Lurker. He takes out a second one. Can he take out the 3rd and 4th? He can. BYUN, big boy BYUN with the big guns, comes back and makes a very impressive comeback. Dude, that was an awesome comeback from BYUN. Botched his opening, but he said it does not even matter. I am the king of aggression. Mass Marine, all reactors. It's an old style, but it checks out. GG, well played.